So it would be hard to measure because you would have to essentially ask everybody what they believe their unconscious bias is, which if it's unconscious, you might not know. Your implicit bias is an unconscious bias. So it's not something that you're actively aware of. So what the training talks about is becoming aware of your unconscious bias and learning how to recognize that that's happening and control that to make a fair decision.
So if we put out a fair and impartial policing measure, we'd be doing better year on year.
I would say so. If it was something that was easily measurable, yes.
Out of all four of us that's in this room, I'm the longest serving for the Lawrence PD, and I will tell you that this hands down is the best bias-based policing training I've ever gone to.
This was one of the programs I wanted to bring here when I came here. And so I was really impressed to find out that not only was it already here, but they had been doing it for several years.
I don't think I've ever been a part, and you've been here for a while too, this has sparked so much conversation.
And then I was also looking at the macro level or the department level. Has this helped the police department? Has this made us more impartial?
I would say it has.
Do we have data?
Not in front of me. I don't know how we could do that data.
We're talking about implicit bias. It's something that's difficult to measure. So I know you all are very data driven from some of your professions. Even getting a baseline for what implicit bias is difficult.
This is Board Member Minor. I'm in agreement with the other board members that in order to establish any type of baseline, though, sometimes you just got to shoot in the dark and just get something started or reach out to other organizations across the United States and see how they measure implicit bias or fair and impartial. Well, what are they doing to how to measure themselves? Because any organization that says we're doing very well here, from the people from the private industry will say,
where's the data?
Show me the data.
Yeah.
You can know that your department, your Lawrence Police Department, is training their people on the gold standard. They just finished up training the NYPD, all 35,000 members, and they're just, it's a really great program.
Thank you, Chief, for the update or for the clarification. But as a citizen, I would say great that they discuss it when the training is happening.
This 2-hour training probably went over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because of just the conversation that was sparked.
But what is important is how they interact with me.
Absolutely.
And I am not hearing that we have a measure for that.
Didn't you say that there was at the academy level, the introductory, there was a pre and post evaluation at that point?
In the police officer program, that full 8-hour course, there is a pre and post evaluation that is given.
What are those evaluation metrics? Are those publicly available? Is that something that we could utilize at this stage?
I don't know that it's necessarily publicly available.
This is a branded curriculum that we can't change.
If there is an evaluation metric that's utilized at some point in the process, then it's possible that we could explore that further to bringing it into ongoing training. We're doing it in a group setting. Are we getting the same metrics that we'd be seeing if we were doing it on an individual basis? And perhaps that leads to a better evaluation of the process.
So these are really good points, but not things that are part of this curriculum. So the idea was to bring this curriculum to you, show you what your officers are being trained on, and go from there. And then in the training, the day I was in there, we went through and everybody made the right decision. We also went back to see what would happen if we didn't make the right decision, if we chose to escalate. So for example, the people in the car in the grocery store parking lot, it's 2 black guys listening to loud music and they get a suspicious person call. And the right decision is to go up and to confront, to talk to the guys.
You heard a Freudian slip. What you just heard was the chief say, or almost to say, that we're going to confront them.
Right decision is to go up and to confront.
If there were evident biases that the department encountered in the last year or the 5 years out, and today that's declined. So implicit bias by itself is very difficult to measure. But at a macro level, at a community level, it has to show up. It will show up.
So it would be hard to measure because you would have to essentially ask everybody what they believe their unconscious bias is, which if it's unconscious, you might not know.
Briefly describe the law enforcement civilian piece to this.
If you're talking specifically a training that would be available to you guys and would be good for you guys to attend, would be the community training. So that one is for community advisor boards.
Form I was talking about is one we're going to be bringing this fall, the community forum.
Board Member Marie Taylor, that form, that's the form you're talking about that is open to anyone in the public?
No, it won't be anyone. We're limited to 30. So we'll be inviting select members from our community.
Board Member Beckford, how are you planning to select the individuals who will be invited to that?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
I don't know how they're going to select the community members, but I bet I know how they're going to select the ones that can't go.
It covers to the responsibility of an officer who sees it to report it and say something.
Okay.
And to stop it, which I think in previous trainings maybe was implied but not said.
Hey man, why is he? Hey! He wasn't even trying to fight you guys. What the fuck?
You want to go to jail? Then you better keep your mouth shut. Another word out of you, you're going to be in handcuffs, going to jail. Not another word. One more word.
Hey, is that all necessary?
Do we have any public comment on this agenda item?
I don't know how they're going to select the community members, but I bet I know how they're going to select the ones that can't go. And I guarantee I'm probably on that list. And a little bit ago, you heard a Freudian slip because they come in here and they speak nice words to you guys. And what you just heard was the chief say, or almost to say, that we're going to confront them because that's the way police officers think about it. They're not thinking about walking up and talking because that's not what they do. They walk up and they take control. They confront. That was the word that was about to come out of his mouth. You all heard it. It's confront, chief. That's the police language, and you should go ahead and use that language in here because I'm sure they can handle it. And we need some honesty. Implicit bias is hard to measure, but there's no effort to measure it. Everything that you guys brought up, what I heard here was a reason why it can't happen. Copyrighted materials. We can't change the training. I don't give a damn if you can change the training. You need to change something on the street. That's for sure. Because the guy that your officers threw off the porch after stalking their house pled guilty to a bullshit secondary crime and is now on probation. And I still haven't heard how the complaint worked out on that one. August 29th of 2021, I submitted that. How about it, Casey? Can I get a letter on that one? Implicit bias is tough to measure. I've been measuring it for a couple years by experience and by witnessing it. Most of the crap that I come in here hopped up about is not even about me. It's about me watching other people get treated this way. Officers putting knees down on a guy that's been complaining about back pain and then working with EMTs to transport him away, handcuffed. I forgot to mention that Tuesday night. The man was placed on a stretcher, handcuffed behind his back, and strapped down, face down. Any of you guys got any medical training? Every single person that has any kind of medical knowledge whatsoever that I have said that to has looked at me with a look of just complete shock that could ever happen. But it happened here. It's the gold standard, but it's brand new. It may be the gold standard, but your police department is not the gold standard. And you can do all the gold standard training you want, but until officers sit in a room and start talking about their implicit biases and recognizing their implicit biases, there's no discussion, they said. What the hell? How do you work through problems? We go to counselors. We talk. Why do you people not talk? Implicit bias is hard to measure, but it's a lot easier when you talk about it and you recognize it. But you're unwilling to do that because you can't change the program and the materials are copyrighted. That's a tough hoe.
Thank you, Mike.